Welcome to Jesus Talks, a series of studies where we're going to try and find out everything that we can about Jesus from the scriptures. And in this first one, we just want to appreciate who Jesus is. There are many wonderful things said about the meaning of the world, the way to true knowledge, and the mysteries of the divine. There are profound and paradoxical claims made about the depths of human being, about cosmic energy, and about techniques for enlightenment. Some would say that we can penetrate the depth of all things if we think hard enough in the right way and cling on to a careful examination of the world in the laboratory. Some claim that this religion or that book contains the final answer, the one true message from the gods, the best wisdom of the ages, the secrets uttered by angels. But the ancient gods are encrusted with the cobwebs of history, and the newer gods are slick and shiny with the blood shed by their followers. The fanatical rationalist clutches at us with a manic glint in his eye, desperate to paint the human race as deluded in its divine addictions. The gods, or any particular god, or some kind of supreme being or cosmic force, all seem beyond our reach or understanding, hidden in the vast reaches of the heavens, lost in the depths of being, or withdrawn from us in all our grubby darkness. In all this confusion of claims and counterclaims, we are confronted with the date, the calendar itself. Once, long ago, a man called Jesus of Nazareth was born, and around him and from him, the whole of world history still continues to circle. Some religions have been built with Jesus near the middle, but just about every religion and philosophy has to account for Jesus of Nazareth in some way. Some religions respect him at a distance, while others try to co-opt him as some kind of an anonymous follower of their own religion. Even the skeptics and the atheists, who will doubt everything but doubt itself, they find themselves constantly drawn back to explaining Jesus, attacking him, rescuing him from the religious, or simply trying to dismiss him. But the famous novelist H.G. Wells said, "I am an historian. I'm not a believer. But I must confess, as a historian, that this penniless preacher from Nazareth is irrevocably the very centre of history. Jesus Christ is easily the most dominant figure in all history." The Jewish novelist and playwright Sholem controversially wrote the following words about Jesus of Nazareth. "Jesus Christ is to me the outstanding personality of all time, all history, both as Son of God and as Son of Man. Everything he ever said or did has value for us today, and that's something you can say of no other man, dead or alive. There is no easy middle ground to stroll upon. You either accept Jesus or reject him." Another historian, Kenneth Latourette, wrote, "As the centuries pass, the evidence is accumulating that, measured by his effect on history, Jesus is the most influential life ever lived on this planet." Alexandria was the academic centre of the ancient classical world, containing possibly the greatest library that the world has ever known. A man called Clement, who was one of the leaders in that ancient city, described the effect of Jesus with these simple words: "He changed sunset into sunrise." The great African thinker Augustine of Hippo recalled one of the most famous things that Jesus of Nazareth ever said. Augustine said, "I have read in Plato and Cicero sayings that are very wise and very beautiful, but I have never read in either of them, 'Come to me, all you that are weighed down with work and heavily burdened.'" One scientific thinker was struggling with the fact that he could learn so much about the universe by developing scientific theories and testing them with experiment and observation. Yet these methods could tell him nothing about what had actually happened in history. He felt frustrated that he could say so much about the human body in general, but couldn't use his biology to say what any particular human body had done or said in history. He felt that he could say a great deal about the stage and the scenery, but nothing at all about the characters and the play. He wrote, "As I look so closely at the structure of the world, I am aware that historical things are happening in that world. I may look for enigmatic divine clues in the as yet unexplained puzzles of the universe, or worship the divine wisdom involved in the structures that we already understand. And yet, right in the public history of the world, a man lived and acted in just the way that I expect the Creator of all things would do. We may one day fully understand our bodies and our environment, but what has this God been doing, planning, and saying while we were looking in a different direction?" In that thought-provoking conclusion, we're taken right to the heart of the matter. Is Jesus part of a bigger picture, part of a wider and deeper system of divine life? Or is Jesus himself the centre and soul of the big picture? Is Jesus a witness to a bigger divine or cosmic truth? Or is he the biggest divine truth that overshadows all the other clues and signposts? Let's put this matter as bluntly as we dare. When we look for big answers anywhere else, are we wasting our time? At the very least, it seems that we must begin any search for big answers at this historical point, at the birth of Jesus of Nazareth. Whether we look at our calendars or our cultural histories, whether this religion or that religion, whether Western or Eastern peoples, whatever the skin colour or nationality, we constantly find ourselves bumping up against this towering historical figure. Whether he is seen as the first socialist or a great prophet, whether a radical rabbi or the eternal God himself. People of every race and religion, every creed and philosophy find themselves engaging with the Nazarene. Whatever stage we are at in our search for answers, we must, sooner or later, investigate Jesus of Nazareth. If even part of what is said about him is true, then our hopes must be set high. One anonymous writer defined Jesus like this: Jesus Christ, the meeting place of eternity and time, the blending of deity and humanity, the junction of heaven and earth. One of the greatest thinkers of ancient Milan, called Ambrose, said, "As the print of the seal on the wax is the express image of the seal itself, so Christ is the express image, the perfect representation of God." As I researched the way that people have seen Jesus, I came across a remarkable quotation that I kept coming back to. It's attributed to Peter Larson, but I'm not sure when or where it was said. But this is it: "Despite our efforts to keep him out, God intrudes." The life of Jesus is bracketed by two impossibilities: a virgin's womb and an empty tomb. Jesus entered our world through a door marked no entrance and left through a door marked no exit. Over the next studies, we're going to have a good look at those brackets and all that lies between them, from the birth of Jesus in Bethlehem right through to the extraordinary eyewitness accounts of what happened to him even beyond his execution as a Roman criminal